And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. And whatever time you're watching this video, Bear42Geo. And today again, we're going to try to solve some more mysteries of WoRkShOp. And if you haven't seen my previous video, Mysteries of WoRkShOp 1, please do so. We discuss a lot of the terminology. We make a scene, so that way you can understand what they're doing in here. Govee is a Chinese product, and their terminology is a lot different than ours. So that makes me have to work extra hard trying to figure out what they're trying to relay so that you get the outcome that you're looking for. So please watch my first video, and we'll go over some of the terminology that they're using and the outcome of that terminology. In this video, we're going to explore a little more of the mysteries, because I could do a video a day about WoRkShOp for the rest of my life and never completely go through it all. There are 1 million zillion combinations that you can do in here. And I'm just going over a few and some of the basic ones of scenes that you create that you may want to use. After we create this scene today, you can save it and you can re-edit it, play with it, make some adjustments, watch what your lights do, and that's what I do. I got a little of an advantage here. I have a set indoors. I know it's winter for some of you people. Well, it's actually winter for everybody, but some places get up in the 70s and 80s, and you know what? It doesn't matter. You can go out and sit in your front yard in your lawn chair, grab your favorite beverage, because that's what I do in the summer at night. Program and watch what the lights do. But during the winter period here, it gets quite cold. And no matter how hot my coffee is, I have ice cubes in it in a few minutes. And it's not very comfortable sitting out there with the wind blowing and, 30 degrees. So, with that being said, let's all fire up your Govee app. All right, if you're on your home page or whatever, we're going to go to the device part. All right, just like that. Now, like I said, you have a list here of the devices that are compatible with what we're about to do. Okay? I'm using the Permanent Lights Pro. Any series of the Permanent Lights Pro will work with what we're going to do today. But as far as anything else, like your LED strips, your neon lights, your light bulbs, all this kind of thing will not work with this. I don't think so. But in your creation mode for those devices, it should be about the same. Okay? How we do it should be about the same. You're just using different lights. Some of the features in here may not exist too. So you might be aware of that. But you can always come back to this video, check to see what we did here today or on a previous video, and get to know what I have versus to what you have, and maybe you can change it around a little bit to get it to do the same thing. Because the language is definitely different. All right? So, you pro users, or any series of the permanent lights that you stick up under your soffits, let's tap on that. All right. The first thing you're going to do, mine are already on. So you need to turn yours on. All right? Turn them on now. Before we get started, let me show you what we're going to create today. I like to create things off the wall, things that are different, other than, like the scenes that are pre-existing in here, the ones that are already pre-made. I like some of them, but I like to do things on my own. I like to design my own. So what we're going to do today, like I said, we're going to design Kind of a weird off the wall thing, but that's me. You know, of course you can enhance on it once you learn how to do all this. A few changes makes a big difference in the lights and how they behave. All right, so this is what we're doing today. So this is what we're doing. We're gonna do a crisscross setup, and the reason the lights are different colors is so we can trace them a lot easier. All right, this is what we're doing today. Okay, look to see where your little icon is in the chart in the middle. If it's on scene or DIY or AI, wherever it's at, it's blue, that's where it's at. Let's go over here and tap more. All right, and now we're going to tap WoRkShOp. Okay, these are all the things that you have in there, if you have things in there. And we're going to go up to the upper right-hand corner and tap the plus. Okay, this opens up your world of the unknown. Okay? All right, as always, the first thing we need to do is we need to name it. So tap on name. Tap on lighting effect name. And name it. Okay, I'm going to name mine crisscross because that's, well, no, I don't think I want to do that. Yeah, why not? I'm gonna name it crisscross test. And I'm going to spell it odd. And I'm going to put an 01 because it's my first test. You name it, whatever you want to name it. Whatever you name it, click confirm. All right. If you have an icon, use it. If you have it, if you want it to go in a creations group, that's fine. All right. You'll see a 1 and a plus. These are your layers. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to deal with the first layer. All right, the first thing it asks you is the applied area. Well, you want all your lights. Now, I don't know how many lights that you have in your set. I have the 100-foot set, so I have 60 lights. I have, excuse me, I have 6 strings at 10 lights each. Okay, they're spaced at 20 inches apart. You 150 people, you'll have more. And you 50 people have less. But you need to put down, it says number of ICs. This is the total number of ICs that you have. ICs in Japanese means the lights, believe it or not. So that's what they're talking about here. The ICs are the lights. So if whatever your set is, if it isn't filled in correctly already, you can tap it and change that number now, okay? Click done when you're done. All right. Going back up one, you see select IC continuously. What that means is if we leave it here, that IC will operate continuously in a row, okay? Continuously together. Tap on it and open up the window. Okay, you see randomly. That tells the ICs or the lights to flash in a random pattern, or you're going to do something randomly, not necessarily flash, but you're going to do something randomly. Okay, then you got segments. Segments are the divisions of how many lights that you want on your string. You can have 30 segments, you can have 10 segments, you can have 5 segments, you can have 3 segments. And that will divide the light. If you have 3 segments, that's going to divide your lights into a third. Okay? So that's how this works. So what we want to do is we want to customize. We want to tell it that we're going to do something. Okay? So what are we going to tell it to do? Number of ICs in each. Okay? So in each segment, we want 1 IC. Okay? We want 1 light to do what we want it to do. Okay, so now we're going to go over and select on intervals, which is the next one over. It says number of ICs in each. So we'll tap on that. It says 0. Here we want 15. We're going to go with 15 intervals. We're going to put 15 spaces between the lights. Okay? Now, let's select a color. I'm going to go with red. You select the color you want. All right? Okay, now it's asking you, based on the number of ICs. Oh, excuse me. We're not done with the color. I'm sorry. Let's go back to the color. All right, now what we want to do is we want to click that plus, and we don't want any lights. All right? We want them dark. So click plus until it runs out. So that'd be 5 of those. Okay. I'm sorry. I kind of got ahead of myself. All right, now let's go back to the basic, based on the number of ICs. Okay. We're not going by the number of ICs. Click that box. We're using segments. So we need to have it set for segments. Okay, since we're going to have these move, which direction do you want them to move? Backwards or forwards? Well, in this case, we're going to select forward. All right, next thing you see is color changing speed. Well, at this point, we don't need anything. So we need to turn down the color speed to 0, and we need to turn down the retention time to 1. That's the minimum. Okay? So, the next question is asked is brightness. Okay? We want it unified. All right? So, click on the unified. Now, we want it darkest to brightest. All right? Now, that's the period in between the lights that it's going to measure. Okay, that way we can, between the bright to the dark is the interval in between those lights that determines how quick they flash or how quick they move. Okay, the brightness changing scope. Okay, that's the lights, how bright you're going to control them. How dim do you want them? How bright? We're not setting them to dim and get bright. You know, kind of like a fade out, fade in kind of thing. But we are going to set them. I'm going to set mine between, let's say 55 to 80. Okay? That puts them, I put them somewhere in between there. Okay? They're not full bright and they're not very dim. Brightness changing speed, we will not need. Brightness retention time, we will not need. Retention time of the darkest light, we will not need. Now, if these were fading on and off, you would adjust the brightness changing speed so that the interval between the fade out and the bright and the fade out and the bright, and how fast that moves. You know, fade out, fade in, fade out, fade in, fade out, fade in. Or fade out, fade in, fade out. Okay, that's the best way I can explain it. The retention time also controls how long that is between the cycle. Okay? You can have the brightest time longer or shorter. Same with the dark. You can have the dark period between them long or short. And this is in milliseconds. So if I were to change this to 50, Somewhere right in there. That's a half a second. So there's 100 milliseconds in a second. Okay? So we're not dealing with that. We're not going to do that. Okay, now, moving effect in the selected area. Turn that on. Okay, it's going to ask you how fast do you want it to move. What is your moving interval going to be? Well, we're going to change that to 1. Because we want one light to move at a time. If you select 2, you're going to get 2 at a time. You select 3, you get 3. Okay? What direction? We're going forward again. It's asking what direction do you want. Let me backtrack here a little bit. That moving interval is the moving effect in the selected area. That 1 means that we will skip every other light. So if your lights are numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, one color here will go 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. And the other one will go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So I just want to bring that up. I kind of spaced that off, all right? So we want to also turn on the enter and exit effect. That is what completes the system. When it's done, it'll start over. When it's done, it'll start over. So that's what we're going to do. All right. So now, everything is set. Now if you click apply, you should be able to see here a red light moving from your controller side or from your power supply side to the end of the string. All right? Sweet. Go outside and take a look. Put me on pause. Come right back. Now, if them lights are moving too fast for you, slow it down to about 95, 96. Click apply. And you'll be able to see there's a pause before they come on, okay? That's pretty damn slow. Let's kick it back up to about 98. 90, see. Let's go 98. Click apply. It's going to be a couple seconds because we set one of our intervals earlier at a slower rate. So there it goes. That way you can see each light, how it skips. At the fast speed, you might not catch it. So if you want to see how it's going to operate, do so. All right, when you're done, let's put it back to 99. All right, whoop. And click apply. All right. Now, just under the plus and the number 1 up there, you'll see preview and copy. Tap, copy. All right, now your number 2 lit up. This is going to be your second layer. I think you can have up to 6 or 7 here. Not sure. But what it does is layering plays everything that you create at the same time. Okay? Keep that in mind when you're designing. Now, in your number 2 layer, we're gonna do some changes. Okay, your applied area is okay. Your customized segments will be the same. Okay? Now, go down here to color and tap on the red. Do not tap on the X. Tap on the red. That'll bring up your color chart. If you accidentally hit the X, we're going to have an issue. Okay? So, tap on no color. You want it dark. Okay, the number 2 one here. Tap that. Let's change that to blue. Okay? So, based on segments, is what we want. Forward, we're going to change that to backward. All right? Changing speed 0, retention time 1. Don't need to mess with that. Whoop. Brightness, unified, of course. That'd be the same. We're going from brightest to darkness in the order. Brightness scope is the same. Brightness changing speed 0, same. Same with retention of the brightest to the darkest light, same. Okay, now, down here in the moving effect in the selected area, we're going to move at one interval. That makes it every other light. All right, we are now going to go and change the moving direction to backwards. Okay, and the moving speed is at 99%, and the enter and exit is turned on. So this makes this a lot simpler. So what we're going to do is we're going to put that blue light in the reverse direction at the same speed. Tap apply. All right. Now you'll see the lights in the opposite direction, the blue one, and using the lights every other one in the reverse direction. So lights 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9 are using red. Lights 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and so on are using the blue. So what's happening here is, your last light in the string, if you have the 100 set, is number 60. Well, the software here views that now as that light is number 1. Okay, your end light is number 1. So it just reverses it and puts it in the opposite light. It puts it in the even. So light number 60 becomes number 1. And backwards. 68 is number 2, 66 is number 3, as far as the software is concerned. All right? I hope I explained that okay. So, okay, we are now done and we have completed this. You can now, at this point, save it if you want. If you do not want to, then just hit your back button up or tap your back button up at the upper right, and it'll say you have changes that need to be saved. If you don't want to, confirm. Okay? If you want to save it so you can play with it, just click save. You can always open it up later and play with it. Change the settings. So let's do that. Let's do some setting changes. Okay? Now remember, when you make a setting change on these layers, okay, scroll, take your thumb, push it to your right, and you're going to go back to layer 1 or tap layer 1. And we can change some things. Let's go up. Okay? Okay, based on segment. Okay, let's change that to a unified color. All right, go back to number 2. Do the same thing there. Let's go to here and unified color. Now, if you saved this previously, making changes is going to change things, but if you don't save it again, you'll go back to what you had originally. Okay? So hit apply. Now watch how your lights are going to behave. They behave a lot differently, quite a bit differently. But you're going to have to go out and peek and see. Take my word for it. So anyway, you can play around in here. I'm going to end this video. It's pretty long. And you can even add a 3rd layer if you want, or a 4th layer or a 5th layer. But keep in mind, they all play at once. Okay? So anyway, if you don't want to save it, I don't. Cancel. I'm back to the original of what I had. So that way I can experiment from there if I want to. or if you'd like to. So here's a up-and-coming scene that I'm going to be doing here in the future. We're going to go into WoRkShOp again, and we're going to create this. This is moving kind of fast. I haven't decided what application I'm going to use this in yet. You know, if I'm going to, is this going to be a spring scene, a part of another Christmas scene, or what? But this is something I'm working on. Kind of goofy. Like I said, I'm off the wall. I might just join another color in there and see what happens. All right? Look for the tutorial on this in the coming future. Hey, as usual, thanks for watching. Bear Geo here. Hope you learned something. If you did, give me a like. I don't ask for subscribers. I don't care if you subscribe or not, but I don't ask for them. I'm not here to have an award-winning channel. I'm here to help. All right, and I hope this did. So until next time, have a great day. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.